right, thank you very much. It is 4:02. Excuse me, and welcome to everybody. Apologies for joining a little bit late. We've had a change up with me chairing today's meeting. Not sure where Mayor Bennett is, but we will proceed as is. I believe we've got quorum to do so. So call to order at 4:02. I will proceed with land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I'd like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We'd like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we're extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? No. None being heard, we'll move on to point 4 and confirmation of council agenda.
That council adopt the agenda for the March 4th, 2025 regular council meeting.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Humphreys, seconded by, I'll start with Councillor Webster. Thank you. All in favor? All right. With no delegations or public meeting tonight, we'll move on to section 6, which is minutes from previous meetings. February 4th, regular council meeting is on page 3 of our package, and our public budget meeting from February 11th is on page 6. Do I have mover for adopting of said minutes? Thank you. Councillor Webster, seconded by Councillor Campbell. All in favor? Do we have any business arising from the minutes? None being heard, we'll keep moving through, and we'll move to committee reports, section 8.1, and I'll hand over to Chair Webster, please.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thank you for chairing the meeting tonight. Staff report 8.1.1 of the 2024 building report, page 8 of our package, and I'll send it over to our author, Treasurer Natalie Moore.
Thank you. So as you can see, this year, based on this report, we are having to make a withdrawal from reserves this year to balance the building department. It is a requirement that we bring a report to council by the end of March every year to report on whether we're making a contribution or withdrawal from reserves. So this year we are needing to withdraw $34,077.62 to have the department balance to zero. Not sure if anybody has any questions on this report.
Any questions?
Just,
Councillor Humphreys.
So with Adamson Bromley, how is that working on the shares?
I'll give you the light answer. There is no indication of any of their monies in here. It's all totally separate, but I'll let the Treasurer Moore carry on.
So, yes, technically he is an employee of Admaston Bromley, and we are invoiced monthly for his wages and any expenses incurred, and like his remittances to the government, and it's our 60-40 split.
And that's based on $74 an hour that you're going, it's in the package for to send out against the Whitewater. They're going to use that as a base thing for if he went to Whitewater to do work.
Yes, CAO.
I was just going to say, so that's part of the Admaston Bromley's salary grid, so two separate issues, but
No, I asked the question every year, I lose it in the translation, but I understand that we have to keep our, because we didn't put any in the last 3 years into reserves. We just took it this year and back in, what year did we take it out before?
Chair Humphreys.
Wait, I understand that the sections that other years we hadn't had to put anything in, so I understand this year our building permits are down by almost $20,000, so I can see that way we'd have to back it up. So my other question was just, it seems like a lot to come out of our reserves when we are only a part-time employer of Mr. Koulis,
So I just got clarification that building reserve that this 34,077 came out of is out of the building reserve. That's dedicated, so any surplus was in there and taken out. It's not through taxation. Am I correct in saying that?
Right, so the department has to operate on like a cost recovery basis. And one thing Horton hasn't looked at in the last 10 to 15 years is doing a building permit fee review, so that, you know, maybe our rates are really low in the building permit rates. And that would kind of reflect a change in the year end for the remuneration as well.
Yeah. And I knew they had tucked money away for this specific time, and I say they only used a little bit in 2019 and 2020, so it seemed just because, I guess you've divided that up over the 3 years we didn't use it, it would be, work out very even.
Yeah.
And yes, maybe we should think about restructuring our building permits too, so.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Councillor Webster.
Any other comments, questions? Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Sorry, my pen's falling. If I can just add on to that is, so if I the remuneration certainly has gone up significantly year over year, but also the mileage and the conference. And that was what struck me with, if we are sharing 60/40 and office supplies, is this an anticipated year over year that it would stay the same? Or was this something in particular this year that, you know, $6,000 of mileage and conference with never anything over $500, much over 200, and then office supplies of near $5,000. I just wondered if we could have a little bit more context on what went into those.
Yeah, I'll let.
For
Treasurer
sure.
Moore.
So, with our building official now, he actually submits mileage, whereas our previous CBO never submitted a mileage claim. So he's actually tracking, but this is only Horton inspections and stuff. So he submits mileage at the end of the year. And as well as he pays a portion of our fees in the office, whether it's phone, heat, hydro. The building department reimburses general government for 5% of those expenses as well. And with us setting up his office, there were a few more expenses this year, just getting his office set up. So that's where that difference is from last year.
Okay, thank you. So for a supplemental to that then, the near $5,700 of mileage, is the mileage incurred only for Horton, and the $79,000 for wages and benefits are the 60% of his full wage as representative of the Horton portion?
Yes, and another difference too is that our former CBO wasn't paying into CPP, so that is also an amount. So we're covering his portion of CPP and those remittances as well, where we didn't have those remittances last year.
Okay, so the expectation then would be then for next year that it would be very comparable minus the office supply for the setup. That's quite a difference from years previous. So to Councillor Humphrey's point, transfer from reserves, but yes, maybe building inspection fees to offset this significantly. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you,
Very
Chair
good.
Webster.
Any other comments, questions? Yes, Spencer?
Yeah, the only thing I would really look at is that last year was the lowest number of building permit fees in 5 or 6 years. And is there any specific reason or economic reason why our numbers of building permits is at the lowest, given highway expansion and a bunch of other things and provincial government grants to start the whole process?
I know through my position in Renfrew, it is because of the interest rates. That's what I keep being told by the developers and everybody. Interest rates are too high to build for last year, and then hopefully they've settled down later last year that they're looking forward to a better year this year. Any other comments in regards to that? Yeah.
Some of us will remember when interest rates were at 10 and 12% and we were thrilled to get a mortgage.
Yeah. Yes.
I think there was a part, a year or so in there too, when materials and supplies were quite increased as well. And it also probably depends on how many lots are being severed in the township. We've seen a bit of a lull in the applications coming through as well, so that's probably part and parcel, part of the factor of all of that.
Very good. Any other comments, questions in regards to that report? Seeing none, we will move on to 8.1.2, 2024 Councilor Remuneration Report, page 10 of our package. And back to our treasurer.
Thank you. So again, it is a requirement that we report to council by March 31st of the council remuneration from the previous year. And again, as we do note, under the benefits, because the mayor's benefits are significantly more, that is paid at his own expense. It is not covered by the township. So not sure if anybody has any questions about this report.
Comments, questions? Yes, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. If I may, can you outline a little bit more on what the benefits are for every councillor?
Yes, so. So it would be the life insurance is one of them. And then any counselors who do pay CPP or EI, it's all encompassed in the benefits. Yeah.
Thank you. So just to be clear then, the CPP, EI, and life insurance are the three aspects that are in the benefits package.
Yeah.
Outside of Mayor Dave Bennett, who does choose to pay more for more health benefit.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Any more comments, questions?
I
Yes,
presume those are just the premiums.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, any other comments, questions? No? Moving on to, 8.1.3 staff report, 2025 budget report, page 12 of our package. And back to our treasurer.
Okay. So in January, staff and council met and had a budget workshop day. And at the end of that day, staff was advised to prepare the budget to reflect a 3.73% levy increase. So that is what staff did in preparation of our public budget meeting. We did advertise our public budget meeting in the Eganville Leader as well as on our website and social media pages. We did not receive any written inquiries, telephone calls, nor were there any public present at the meeting. So that, we just wanted to note that we always welcome everyone to get involved, and if they have any questions, to reach out. And this also includes the PSAB report. So all Ontario municipalities are mandated to provide a detailed, transparent information about our finances. And it alludes to post-employment benefits, amortization of capital assets, and other long-term liabilities. The goal of the report is to ensure that municipalities are managing their finances properly and planning ahead for future costs. The 2024 PSAB report is attached. And one change that we have noticed over the last couple of years is the post-closure amounts for the landfill. It was always steadily 120,000, but the last couple of years, our consultants have advised to increase that number to 130,000. So I'm not sure if anybody has any questions.
Any comments, questions in regards to this report? Yes, Councillor Campbell?
Just one, it's just unfortunate that I know I'd received a few calls, and I'm sure the rest of you had as well. But unfortunate that we didn't have any public turnout. I think it's always important that, you know, we get to hear the feedback in person as well. So hopefully next year we can fill some seats. Thank you.
Very good. Any other comments, questions for this report? Seeing none. And our last report is 8.1.4 Building Inspection Reciprocal Agreement Report, page 16. And I will send this over to the author or CAO, Dillabo, please.
Thank you. So I think everybody's had a chance to read this report. We have never had a reciprocal shared agreement with other municipalities to cover any vacation time, sick time. So in speaking with staff from Admas and Bromley as well as Whitewater Region, we kind of brought forward an idea that we could have a reciprocal agreement in writing. We've kind of been doing it unofficial for the last year, which has worked out really well. And now we're just putting it in writing, bringing it to our respective councils to enter into the agreement. It is attached to the report. It is in draft form at this time, but my recommendation is to move forward with it, and we will bring it back by bylaw for adoption at the next council meeting.
Great. Any comments, questions in regards to this report? No. I've been involved in a couple of these, and the legal liability this is the way to do it, because there was loopholes before that, and I'm glad this has tightened all that up, so. Seeing no comments, questions, I will pass it back to you, Deputy Mayor.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chair Webster. We'll move on to section 8.2, our community committees and county council, starting with Councillor Humphreys for Renfrew and area seniors home support, please.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Mayor Proctor. Yeah, I guess as we follow up on things, the fundraising was, with the green envelope, was disappointing. It was down by a third because of the postal strike. Instead of getting them out in November, December, they didn't get out till January. They did get extensions from the CRA to go over to the end of February on tax receipts. The good news is they have Tim Smile Cookies from Tim Hortons again, which will be a major boost. They're working on a lot of different fundraising ideas. Shred-it Day, $10 a banker's box out at the old caboose. Everybody welcome. It's a good fundraiser. They're bringing a truck for the day, and they get a percentage of that $10. Plus, people get rid of a lot of trash. Canada Day, they're hoping to have a car show and the Big Red Barbecue at the Mattaway Park. Of course, they have something for Mother's Day, Father's Day, and just busy with the Golden Age Activity Center. Things on the go is transportation costs are going up. They've started their income tax service again for low income, and last year they did about 800 for the folks in the low income bracket, which was a major help, and they did receive some compensation back from CRA. I think it was $5 for just doing that for them. Plus, the people get caught up on all their GST and all the rebates that they were eligible for. And I talked to Glenn, and he said, people were missing out on money for the last. One guy hadn't filed out income tax after he turned 65, and that was back in 1985. He was an old guy, about 90, and he got a big check, so he was pretty happy. So anyway, that was pretty well what's going on is fundraising, helping with do stuff, and different fundraising events are going on. So it's a busy spot. 330 some members, Golden Age, so they're keeping active in the seniors. The golden years of our lives are coming sooner than you think. So I'll just jump into Renfrew Area Chamber of Commerce. Again, another good meeting, very proactive in membership recruitment, monthly newsletters, which you read in your info package this year, for this meeting. Got a good guest speaker, Rod Morgan's coming, and Rachel Eden and I will be going to that on March 25th. She was asked to go, so he's the art of problem solving is his mentorship. Working on the mayors and executive or economic development for May 13 on a Tuesday. So we'll be asking for information on how things are going in Horton, whether it's the number of building permits, just an update like we did last spring. Of course, we can't beat Greater Madawaska. They put on a real show with all their PowerPoints and a TV and loops going. So, they got a lot of money out there. So poor old Admiston, Brumley, and Horton we're running way behind, but hopefully we'll have information and for that May 13th. So circle that in your calendar. It'll be another breakfast starting at 7:30. So, and that's all I have, Deputy Mayor Proctor. Thank you.
Any questions? None being heard. Thank you so much for that. I am aware from a county perspective, they've been talking an awful lot about the economic development impact with the geopolitical activities going on right now, that another round started today from the tariffs. I would look forward to sharing that with our community as much as we can for just better educating ourselves. So if there's topics in there, I'd look forward to learning on them as well. If I summarize a significant presentation that was given at county about economic development, was certainly we're somewhat insulated in the county given our primary sources of economic development, but insulated does not mean not impacted all the same. Thank you. Section 8.2.3, South Ottawa Valley Police Board. Why don't I turn it over to Chair Campbell, please?
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Proctor. So we had our February 12th meeting at the local OPP station in Renfrew here. I thought I'd hit that twice. So we gathered in and just had a report from our previous meeting. We now have selected an internet provider, which will be Wix. That seemed to be the best bang for the buck for live open stream. Then we're talking about the OPP detachment itself has an owl for and a laptop they're going to dedicate to our group, that we can actually come out and have a meeting at each of the municipalities rather than just to make it fair instead of everybody coming to Renfrew, because some of our group is traveling a little further, so we're going to look into doing that in the new year. We had election of office. Because we had started in May of last year of 2024 until January, or till the end of December. So we graciously accepted Connie Tabbert for our intern secretary until we find a full-time replacement that we'll be putting that out for a job placement. We did not have anyone put in for the chair, so Rob Tripp is going to continue for the next year. And the way they're looking at it is they don't want anybody taking the chair for more than 1 year, to give everybody a turn to change over. The vice chair, we had two names went in. It was put to a vote, and when the dust settled, we had Mr. John Proctor is going to be our vice chair. So we look forward to seeing his reports. He brings a lot to the table right now, and we should be able to just pick up where our previous chair left off. Treasurer Jason Legree, there was no one else had put their name forward, so Jason again will continue on for the 1 year. So I think that's a good thing, because we'll finally see what a full fiscal year, and he's eager to stay in that position because he's looking to report back in the 6-month period that the municipalities had looked at a review of the actual budget and wages and what we assumed we're going to need through budget, and then what actual costs were. So that'll be coming up at the 6-month interim. Commander Hemrick, he has stepped in to fill the shoes for our commander, and he gave his report that Renfrew is receiving 3 new recruits as of the second week of, I guess it'd be the end of February. So they're coming straight from the police academy, which is a little bit different, where they're usually transferred from another sector, and they're actually straight from the police academy. So you'll see some new faces here, and again, I'll get their names and their background, and we'll certainly bring that forward. June 3rd to 5th is our AGM, which will be in London, and we're looking at delegates to go to that. And then Roma, I guess, was the only other topic we met with the minister to speak on, what our our concerns were. We were well accepted. They said had the, not to toot the horn of the committee, but the delegates that attended spoke well, had all their ducks in a row, had a really good presentation. So it was received well, and there was talk throughout the conference of how well this group had portrayed themselves in bringing their points forward. And then we're meeting at the end of, I think the 28th of March is our next meeting, and that is all I have to report on that. So we look forward to starting the new fiscal year, and now that we have the momentum going, we can actually start checking off the boxes of the our concerns with mental health and drug addiction and theft of vehicles seem to be the three main topics. And there's a grant that we put in for, and I'll wait and bring that up a little later. It's something the area needs, and we're fairly excited on the turnout of it. But again, we all know how the grants work. You receive it on Monday, and it's got to be in by Friday. So we're certainly looking forward to jumping in on that, because it's very specific for our area. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns, discussion? None being heard?
Thank you, Councillor Campbell, for keeping us on. It sounds like we're heading in the right direction with OPP, and hopefully we can see where the costs are going to be and where we can save by doing these meetings, and see who gets nominated. Like, I think you got a really good bunch of people around the table, so I think it's a positive for Horton the way it's going. So, thank you.
Not my committee, but OPP is doing some outreach, and they called on Friday, at least the canvasser, to go through a checklist of how satisfied we in Horton, I guess, are with respect to service, the services offered, call response, any other issues that we wanted to talk about. And I thought it might be not a kind of a scam thing, but it turned out that they were very thorough in what they want to know about satisfaction levels, and are they present enough, and do we see enough cruisers from time to time? So they're doing the outreach as well.
Yeah, yeah, and it's the it's a different way now, because with the board, you know, we're certainly keeping the detachment accountable is really what we're doing, and the you know, our position takes a little bit more off their side, so they can look and see what is happening in our communities, and the best way to do that is be hearing from the 6 communities and of course the town of Renfrew. So you'll see a lot more of that. There's going to be a lot more interaction with the schools. There's going to be a lot more interaction, you know, at the fairs. There's going to be you know, for all the events throughout the year within Renfrew, you're going to see a police presence, stands and setups, that they're going to be there wanting the public's input. So it's not that it wasn't there before, but I think you're going to see, you know, with bringing more officers in, they're trying to make the community more community friendly. So, and change that persona of, oh, there's the police. No, there's our friends. It's the opposite way to what should be taught in the schools. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. We will move past section 8.2.4 on county council. We did not have, well, we don't have representation here today, so we'll move on to section 9. Correspondence summary, excuse me, and information memo was mailed to us. Are there any Comments, discussion points from any of the items? Yes, Councillor Humphries.
It's always me. Anyway, it was nice to see the chamber newsletter in our info package. It was also nice to see the county's Tariff Talk Think Local campaign and the hashtag Shop Local, Think Brantford County, Support Ontario, and Buy Canadian. I think we have to really emphasize those feelings that we have with what's going on south of the border. So anyway, that was my report on the info package. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or thoughts? No? All right. Thank you very much. We will continue. Just have to get back to package. So we'll move on to section 10 for bylaws, and I will pass it over to CAO Dillabo.
Right, thank you. So upon budget discussion, these two bylaws are ones that come up annually to be passed by council. The first one is the 2025 employment bylaw, which dictates pension, life insurance, healthcare, and staff salary with our grids, as well as then the sums required for 2025, which is specific to the budget to allow us to implement the levy increase that we will be bringing forward tonight by resolution.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? No? None being heard? We will go to a notice to file motion for next council meeting. And moving on to section 12, council or staff member concerns. Hope.
Thank you. So I received an email late February from the Renfrew Area and Health Services Village. Just to kind of preface this, we are no longer, our agreement has expired, so we haven't been, we didn't budget for this year's annual allotment because the agreement's expired. We haven't talked about renewal. I received an email with an attachment of an initial invoice for $25,000 to be paid in 2025, representing the annual contribution to the Renfrew and Area Health Services Village. And these funds are going to be used to pay down the line of credit balance of $96,845 and cover some current expenses. And then a final invoice will be provided once they've had, their annual general meeting. The date is yet to be determined. That's all the information I have. I figured something was going to come down the pipe, but I don't have any concrete details, and I haven't heard any updates from Mayor Bennett in terms of whether they're trying to determine a date to actually have an AGM meeting. I don't have any other update from that, so I'm not doing anything with this email and invoice just at this time, as I'm waiting to hear from Mayor Bennett on this topic.
Thank you for that. If I can add a little bit in speaking to some of our fellow townships relative to this, and I do think it's a fair assessment or fair status to take, is looking to see the charitable donation and the charitable status audit reports from previous years, and look forward to learning more on those before we're able to move forward. But I do appreciate that they reached out and shared that, and appreciate you bringing it to the council table, and look forward to finding out more. Thank you. Any other council or staff member concerns? Councillor Humphries.
I want to see their books. I really do. Because this has gone on. They say it's over, and then we get a bill for $25,000. We have to see. This has been going on. We have all sat around and listened for the last 10 years with this recruitment stuff, up and down, and what's went through with the Industrial Commission. We have to have somebody. We have to have the book, see the books. And I think we have to get Rory from McKilligan's maybe involved too, to do a fine comb for our taxpayers. Because it's gone, you know yourself, it's gone on every year, and there's been the money seems to go, but there's never any super doctors. We've got a few, but what the amount of money that every township has put in, it's been a losing money proposition. we better just to dangle out a reward saying, wanted doctors, here's $100,000, rather than going through the industrial commission and the audits that are just, it's been a schmozzle from the beginning, so. Yes, isn't that a good word? Thank you.
All right, yes, Counselor Webster.
No, I concur with Councillor Humphries. And if I can remember correctly, wasn't there issues with doctors being paid out and then leaving and then they couldn't recoup the money and all this stuff? So I think maybe from a legal end of it, our agreement, our original agreement, if maybe we have it legally looked at, if this is allowed, this $25,000 is part of that. I think because like Councillor Humphrey said, we've never seen the books. We've asked for them here many times, and they've never shown up. So it might be an avenue that we should pursue as well as the legal end of that original agreement from way back. Thank you.
Good point.
Okay,
Councillor
thank you.
Campbell?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Proctor. And I know we'd asked, so they had a open house at Mattaway Park many years ago. It's got to be at least 5 years ago, 6. And it was a question and answer period there. So there was lots of questions asked, but no answers came back. I know we had delegates there from the township. Our treasurer was there and asked several questions, and the answers that came back is we were going to meet with the individual municipalities separately to go over the breakdown of how the structure, how it's paid out, where the money's going. And as Councillor Webster has spoken to, the doctors that had come in either were trying to specialize into surgery or had there's one wanting to go to Pembroke, so the money was to be paid back because everybody's putting into it, but it was for general practitioners for the area. That's why the recruitment process is so that our residents have a physician. A lot of them still do not. And when our commitment was done, I know our stand of the day of council was when you bring us our breakdown, and Health Village was supposed to, at that time, when that segment was done, they said before we enter into the next part or go forward, that we will come and do a breakdown. Yet to happen, never seen it. So yes, we correspondence if at best, and let's have a meeting specifically to ours. Thank you.
Well said, well said. If I can ask the question as well, is it fair to say then that the invoice is not it will require council approval, and I dare say from everybody's comments, there's not approval for it right now, before that amount would be paid?
And I would go one step further, is ask if council wants to direct staff, like for me to reply back and ask for the review of the audited financial statements, whether we want a legal opinion on the the expired agreement, and anything else that we may want to do to reach out to them.
I'll speak from my own thoughts, absolutely, and I would add to that at any AGM that we withhold agreement from stepping in as a member of the charitable designation at this time, because at this time I don't know that that's something that Horton as representatives would feel comfortable to be a part of, to set up a new agreement. Other thoughts on that? Yeah, Councillor Webster.
Great idea moving forward with that, but I think we should, as the whole 4 municipalities, the group, be involved as we're all on the same page moving forward. I would just hate to see one move ahead and jump and pay for it, that we're all asking for the same thing and we're not moving ahead because the dollar amount is a lot larger, that we stick together and until we get these reports and audits done, then we don't move ahead. But I think we should be on the same page to protect everybody within this agreement.
Councillor Humphries.
Just another comment. I think, what I said about getting Rory involved, I think getting Tony Fleming involved too, to give us a legal opinion of the contract, but then have Rory involved to see the nuts and bolts of how it was audited. Because, you know, I can audit books and you might audit books, we might do a different auditing process. So I think it has to be looked at as through all the townships and areas that were involved. I agree with Councillor Webster, that it has to be, so I think we should send a letter of support to our fellow CAOs, just to see what they're doing and saying, this is our opinion from our meeting, what's your opinion? And let's get grouped together, just like the police board, and say, we're gonna do this, and we wanna see the minutes and stuff have to be sent out to all the townships in the town of Renfrew on that. So that's my feeling on it. I say this has been going on, and it bugs me for a long time, so, thank you.
For that, would you like us to raise a motion today, or is that direction enough for you?
I think that's enough. I think the first point of contact I'll make is with the other staff members of the municipalities and just start that conversation, and then we'll see how that moves forward.
Thank you. All right, are there any other council or staff member concerns? No, I have got 4, so I will raise some of these. So first off, wanted to say a huge well done for the carnival on the weekend. Rachel, the whole rec committee, all volunteers, pancake flippers, servers. It was a really great day. Mother Nature tried to make it a bit less enjoyable, but everything went off exceedingly well, from the firefighters running the bonfire to the Timberwolves being on the ice running the obstacle course, thank you, to the scavenger hunt, to the animal keepers, to the woman who did all of the kids' hair and put braids. It was just a really good day, so thank you to everybody for that. Yeah, the sleigh rides. Yeah, it was fantastic. The next one was that yesterday I had the absolute pleasure of welcoming a number of delegations and a number of individuals to our complex for the King Charles Coronation Medal presentation. There were 30 recipients, 26 in attendance, and our own Mayor Bennett was actually a recipient of the King Charles Award, primarily focused on community impact. So there were just fantastic short stories, all the same, but still stories of all of the recipients. So I felt very humbled to be part of it, and very grateful to represent on behalf of Horton. I have a gift for us from one of the recipients, Kathy Haycock. I don't know if many of you know her. She's a local artist. She lives in Bone Shire Valley. And she has provided us this limited edition reproduction painting for our office as a thank you for Horton Community Center hosting the Coronation Medal. So thank you to Kathy. It was lovely to meet her and for her to share this. I'll leave it here and we'll pass it around after. It was a good 3-hour event with Mayor Bennett being there from beginning to end, which was lovely to see him in attendance, and to see so many of our neighbors and recipients all across the county. Last but certainly not least is to give our congratulations to MPP Bill Deneau. He joined us at our carnival right after his, I wouldn't say inauguration, but his election win, and John Yakubuski. So we wish him well with his onboarding, and we look forward to him continuing to advocate on behalf of our rural needs and staying as involved as he has been. And so glad to have a local representation for us that is eager and keen. So those were the updates that I had. Any questions or concerns with anything I've shared? No? All right, why don't we move on to section 13 then, in resolutions, and I'll hand that over to Hope.
Perfect. So that council received the building fee report for the year ending December 31st, 2024 as presented.
Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Humphrey, seconded by Councillor Webster. All in favor?
That council accepts their council remuneration report for the year ending December 31st, 2024 as presented.
Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Webster. All in favor?
That council adopts the 2025 budget with a levy of $3,031,627, which represents a 3.73% levy increase. And that council adopts the Ontario Regulation 28409 PSAB report for the 2025 budget as presented.
Could I ask for a recorded vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Thank you. Counselor Humphries, seconded. Counselor Webster, with a recorded vote.
So I call the vote.
You call the vote. Thank you.
Counselor Humphries,
In favor.
Counselor Webster,
In favor.
Counselor Campbell,
In favor.
Deputy Mayor Proctor.
I'm not in favor for reasons as discussed previously in our budget meetings.
Okay, the motion is carried. That Council of the Township of Horton, along with the Township of Admast and Bromley, approve entering into a mutual assistance agreement with the Township of Whitewater Region for building services, support, and coverage, and that this be brought back by bylaw for adoption.
Do we have a mover? Thank you. Counselor Webster, seconded by Counselor Campbell. All in favor?
That Council receive the community committees and county council updates as information.
Moved by, thank you, Counselor Humphries, seconded by Counselor Webster. All in favor?
That Council receive the information memo for March 4th, 2025.
Moved by Counselor Campbell, seconded by Counselor Humphries. All in favor?
That Council enact the following bylaws: 2025-12 Employment Bylaw and 2025-13 Sums Required for 2025.
Moved by Counselor Webster, seconded by Counselor Humphries. Thank you. All in favor?
That Council went into a closed meeting session at 4:48 PM to discuss the following items pursuant to Section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, staffing.
Move for moving into closed. Thank you, Counselor Campbell, seconded by Counselor Webster. All in favor? All right, we are in closed.
Goodbye.
Right, thank you so much. Coming out of close, do I have a motion to return to regular agenda and close? Thank you. Councillor Humphries, seconded by Councillor Webster. All in favor to come out of closed? Thank you. I will move on to section 15 then, confirming bylaw.
Oh, I do have a resolution.
Oh,
that
my
comes out of-
apologies. I will pass it to you for the resolution then, please.
That council received the notice of retirements for Peter Story and Billy Yantha, and that council approve hiring 2 summer students for the 2025 construction season. And further, that council received the background section of this report, closed session report, as information on the proposed succession plan in place for the upcoming retirements.
Thank you. Motion, thank you, by Councillor Campbell, seconded. Councillor Webster, all in favor?
That council enact bylaw 2025-14, confirming bylaw.
Mover. Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Humphries, all in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. And that would bring us to adjournment at 5:03. Safe travels this evening. Thanks all.